Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a ZEPHYR Dragoon build in Baldur's Gate 3. This is part of the ZEPHYR Martial Class of Speed and Flow by TheWailingBard, which has 8 different subclasses and it is now available on console. Today we'll be focusing on the Dragoon. I am a big fan of different playstyles like this. Essentially what this class is going to do is it's a dexterity based class that gets to not only double, triple, but 5 times its jump distance. So you're going to be jumping around. On top of this, you also get dragon breath attacks, and you can absorb elements from enemies and then do an enhanced dragon breath attack. You also get a jumping attack, and if you jump for more than 3 meters, you get advantage on that attack as well. It's a really fun playstyle. You're going to be using halberds, spears, tridents, anything that's going to poke the enemy. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Dragoon style playstyle. So with this, we also go into flow. So this is a state where actions and conscience are seamlessly melded. So we have advantage on dexterity checks and saving throws, and the number that we need to roll a critical hit with a ZEPHYR weapon is reduced by 1. These are weapons that are light, thrown, or have the finesse property. And with our subclass, we can then consider certain weapons to also be ZEPHYR weapons. We also get the windborne stride here, increasing our movement speed, and we can use our dexterity to determine our jump distance instead of our strength. We also get the leap to your feet, so if you get knocked prone, you do use less movement speed. So there are 2 subclasses here that use charisma for their casting, and there's one that uses intelligence for its casting, but we don't really need to focus on that. Still, it's nice to have a bit of wisdom to resist those saves, and we're a dexterity based class. You could also go ahead with 17 dexterity and use the Hag's Hair. That is probably the best option. Then you can get a 20 dexterity at level 4. That is really good. So I think this stat spread works well, and skill proficiencies, you can throw it into performance as well if you prefer, but sleight of hand and stealth is great. It just makes it easier if you're the face of the party. And yeah, we'll put those final points into wisdom just for the extra saves. Level 2 gives us our sinuous defense. So when you're wearing light or no armor and not wielding a shield, your armor class equals 13 plus your dexterity modifiers. This is kind of like mage armor, and it's great. We also got the dodge, so attacks against you have disadvantage, and you have advantage on dexterity saving throws. When in flow, dodging will also activate a flow attack. Well, it's much like dodging, disengaging or dashing. So whenever we do these actions, we do get a free attack. So it kind of works in that regard. So we'll always be able to attack while maintaining a lot of movement speed. And that's one of the things about this class that's really fun. Movement speed is a very valuable resource. Now we get to take our subclass here. So I will be covering some of the other subclasses in the future. I really think that the Dragoon's my favorite. This is a subclass that I used in Final Fantasy XIV. Really fun. So the Dragoon, a warrior tradition of the Dragoon was to create, basically to emulate dragons, you can exhale the elemental primordial exhalation there, doing acid or fire damage. And we also get the Dragoon's flow. So when you're in your flow, your maximum jump distance is multiplied by 5, and you're immune to falling damage. Additionally, if you use primordial exhalation in flow, you become resistant to the damage type of the blast until your flow state ends. As I should mention, any type of elemental breath that you want to choose. So it's your choice there. So you do get resistance to that damage type. And we also get pole mastery, so you get proficiency in glaives, halberds. Moreover, whenever you wield these weapons, spears, or tridents, you may treat them as though they had the finesse properties so that we can use our dexterity scaling on it. At level 4, we get swift reflexes, adding half our proficiency bonus rounded up to our initiative. That's great. Additionally, when you enter combat, you can use your reaction to immediately activate your flow feature instead of the usual bonus action. So that's nice, but reactions are sometimes really good because at level 4, we get our first feat. And there's a very good option here because we're going to be using polearms and different types that benefit from things like Polearm Master, which lets us do a bonus action attack and make an opportunity attack when a target comes within range. But we also get Sentinel. Sentinel with Polearm Master is crazy because we also get advantage on opportunity attacks. And when we hit a creature with an opportunity attack, they cannot move again for the rest of their turn. What's crazy about that with Polearm Master is we get an extra reach. We can hit an enemy. If they don't have a ranged option, they get stuck there and they just got hit by us. It actually is pretty funny. But I think Sentinel is the first option we want, and we become kind of a protector at this point. We use a reaction to make a weapon attack if someone attacks an ally. The thing is, you got to kind of be conscious if you're going to be on your first turn of combat. You're not going to have that access if you use your reaction for the swift reflexes, but I think it's good to have the option there. Weaponizing your reaction is such a powerful ability. Level 5 gives us lots of great things. We get additional flow charge for long rest. We also get an extra reaction, so I guess that kind of fixes the problem of the last turn. We also then get the whirlwind strike, so your whirlwind of violence, eviscerating its enemies. You can use your reaction immediately to make 1 extra attack with a melee ZEPHYR weapon against a target whenever there is a creature attacked by another creature. And you can use a reaction to make a melee ZEPHYR weapon attack when a creature enters your reach. So this only procs if there's an attacker being made there. So if they attack you or if they attack your teammates, we have Sentinel feature working, or this one here. We also get an increase in our armor class by 1 point on top of basically that mage armor ability we got there. And our damage die and our primordial exhalation also is increasing to 4d6. So yeah, level 5 power spike is pretty nice. We do get a pretty good ability at level 11 here, but into level 6 we get the leaping lancer. So this is our subclass ability. We can leap towards an enemy, and if the enemy is more than 3 meters away, we get that advantage on it. We use our action, our bonus action, and 3 meters of our movement speed. But this is really good because getting advantage on an attack obviously can be pretty useful at certain points in the game. Level 7 gives us evasion, so basically whenever a dexterity saving throw is made and we succeed on it, we take no damage, and we fail it, we only take half damage now. So we now take half less dexterity save damage spells. So pretty good stuff. Into level 8, we get ourselves another feat here. I would recommend at this point to increase our dexterity and take it up to 20 perhaps if you already use the hag's hair on it. But taking our dexterity up here is just good because we use it for pretty much everything here. Level 9 gives us our additional flow charge per long rest, and we get the wide wanderer. Moving through difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. In addition, when wearing light or no armor, our movement speed will increase an additional 3 meters. That's pretty good. So again, we're getting even more distance on our character here. We now get the primordial rejuvenation. So whenever we take any type of elemental damage listed there, you can use your reaction or gain health points equal to your Zephyr level. And whenever we do that, our primordial exhalation feature is double the next time you use it, provided we use it within 10 rounds, which Combat at Baldur's Gate 3, you will. So yeah, pretty good. Next up, level 11 is when we get our extra attack. This is what I meant about it being a good power spike, because now we're going to be dishing out quite a bit of damage. And then our primordial exhalation is now a 5d6 of damage, so further increasing, making it more useful to use. Level 12 gives us another feat. Alert here, a dragoon is going to be alert. We could also go with an ability score improvement if you prefer that, and go with an increase in dex or constitution. Level 13, you can stop at level 12, but I'm going to go up to level 20 to show off all the abilities here. We get another flow charge, and we get footloose. You get advantage on saving throws against being paralyzed or restrained. And also an improved defense here, taking our armor class up to 15 plus dex modifier, so it's now getting increased plus 5 over its base value. Level 14 gives us feathered edge, so you cannot be enwebbed, entangled, cannot slip on grease or ice. Pretty good stuff. Being unable to be slipping on ice is really useful. 15, you know, nothing happened there, just more health. Level 16 gives us another feat. Increasing our dex to the max value at 20 is good because we do get a level 20 feature, which will further increase it. However, if you've already done this, you can go with the Savage Attacker to reroll your damage die at least once. Level 17 gives us another flow charge, and we get an extra reaction. So you get yourself 2 extra reactions. Any way that we can proc our extra reaction is really good. Our primordial exhalation is now a 6d6 of damage. Level 18 gives us the Harrying Strike. When you hit a creature with a Zephyr weapon, one ally within 9 meters can use their reaction to make a weapon attack or an unarmed strike against that creature. It's really good if they also have the duelist prerogative to get an extra reaction too. Level 19 will take, I should have taken Polearm Master a little bit earlier. This is probably the first one to take. In all honesty, it's really good when you make an opportunity attack. You make an opportunity attack when it comes to range, but I guess this one doesn't really matter because we already have ways to use our bonus action. We don't really need to use that. So Savage Attacker probably ends up being a better choice here. Lucky is another good one. And since we go to level 20, Tough is always a good point. Because that'll give you 40 extra health, which is just good for your survivability. We're gonna go all damage, so we're gonna go with Savage Attacker, and the level 20 ability gives us our dexterity score increases by 4 up to 24. When we are wearing light or no armor, our movement speed will increase an additional 4.5 meters, and whenever we expand a use of our flow, we get it back per short rest. So across the board, lots of really good buffs here, and it's a really fun class and subclass. Now, a really good mod that goes alongside this is the Scurvy Spartan Armor set, because you can use the spear here, and it just fits alongside it well, but we don't have to use it. But for helmets, the Haste Helmet is very early on acquired. It gives you momentum, which increases your movement speed. It just makes sense for this class to have a lot of movement speed, so I like that one. But you can also go with the Scabby Pugil Circlet if you want to increase your damage when you're surrounded. Since we can only wear light armor, we can't wear some of the medium armor options. We got the Cloak Protection. You can use the Deathstalker Mantle if you are Dirge. The Ballast Armor is going to be our best choice in armor. Obviously, this is a late game armor, but we do have a pretty decent armor class if we're going to be going without. So using something like the Robe of the Weave, it still gives us a 27 armor class because we get a +5, basically. Mage armor +2. So yeah, really good if you wanted to use something different. Then it depends on the damage type. If you're using piercing damage, the best choice would be the Ballast Armor. Otherwise, it's going to be robes and whatever type of I guess, armor class increase you can get off of those, with the Robe of the Weave getting a +2 and the Vest of Soul Rejuvenation also getting a +2. But my personal preference is the Ballast Armor, just because it's going to increase our damage despite dropping our armor class down a little bit further. We don't lose any of the movement speed benefits. So now this is Dragoon. Green is just the color I associate with it, so that's why I grabbed the Dark Justiciar Gauntlets. Necrotic damage isn't really dragon related, but it's green. That's my thought process. You could use the Helldusk Armor or Hell's Gloves for fire damage. The Gloves of the Frostshine strength later on could be nice if you just wanted to dump your strength, and you can have a bit of your strength still there. But the Hell's Gloves for the extra fire damage is really nice. I like that. Alternatively, I guess you could also go with the Wondrous Gloves to give you a +1 armor class. If you really want to be tanky without having to use a shield, you could do that. And we also got ourselves the Evasive Shoes on for +1 armor class. And I got the Crusher's Ring for the +3 movement speed, as well as the Ring of Protection again. We're just maximizing our overall damage. Shadow Cloaked Ring can be good too, because this gives us a little bit of extra damage and it just procs it so often. And the Amulet of Greater Health is also pretty nice too. I have the Hellrider Longbow for the +3 to our initiative. And for weapons, I have the Halberd of Vigilance. This gives us an additional force damage die with a D4. So that's an additional D4 from our ring, D4 from our glove, and this has an additional D4. We'd also get a +1 initiative and advantage on perception checks, and when you make an attack roll as a reaction, you make it with advantage. So this kind of is the weapon that's kind of best geared toward this class. It's also considered a finesse weapon, which is great whenever we wield it, and it's two-handed with extra reach. Now, you could also throw on something like Nyrulna, because it's also piercing damage. This is a really good weapon too. It also gains a finesse property. When we wield it, it gets an additional 1d6 of thunder damage. So, and the piercing damage will be doubled. So that's actually like this ring that gives us a 1d4. It's essentially like you're getting a double 2d4 of that. So that's pretty nice. And if you want to go with the Dark Dragoon, you could go with the Sharp Spear of the Evening. And with this, you will be able to hide out in darkness. So that's really strong as well. There's also the Eversight Ring if you didn't want to use that weapon, but still like the idea of a darkness-based theme. The Dancing Breeze is funny because this is normally a finesse weapon, but it doesn't really work well. Is here. I'm actually going to go, and we're going to swap things up. The Vest of Soul Rejuvenation actually gives us another reaction attack. However, it's an unarmed attack, so it's going to do like nothing for damage. So I wouldn't recommend using it at all, but the Robe of the Weave is like the other option. They both have nice benefits, the +2 armor class. This one will give you more healing than this would, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. Use whatever you got for that, because this will put our armor class up to 26. We could get a little bit higher with more gear, but I think that this is fine. Now, as soon as we get into combat, we got Swift Reflexes, letting us enter our flow right away using just a reaction. So do that, it's good. Now we're in combat here with our awesome stance. The first thing we're going to do is we can rush towards an enemy here. This does use our opportunity attack, so sometimes you just want to clear an enemy out. We actually have extended reach, so we don't even have to get that close to an enemy to go ahead with an attack there. We also get the Herring attack range, so when a Zephyr attacks with a Zephyr weapon, they can make a follow-up attack. So you can use your reaction here to make this free attack if you wanted to, and get the extra attack off. Shadowheart made her attack, got one hit off, which was nice, and used the offhand crossbows, which is even better. This was enough to finish them off, so I'm just going to go with, I guess, another attack here. And this should hopefully, yeah, finish them off perfect. Now we can rush ahead forward with our Leaping Lancer here, and this gives us advantage because it's more than 3 meters. We'll use the free crit there, and wasn't enough to finish them off, but still, hey, good enough. We'll take them out here. Boom, finish them off. Now, if I had a bonus action left, I would use my Primordial Breath there, which is pretty useful, but we can hopefully take some damage next turn and then be able to use that on the enemies in a enhanced manner. It'll be doing a 12d6 essentially of damage. We got a Whirlwind entered reach here to do the attack on someone that just reached into us. Perfect. We got them taken out there. That's actually really good. The reason that's so good is we didn't even expend an action or a bonus action of our own, and the enemy lost their turn. They were about to attack somebody, and we were able to stop them from doing that. So that's really good. That's one of the best benefits about using something to weaponize your reaction, because it just means that you're less likely to take damage. But back to our turn, we can use the Leaping Lancer again here. Now, I want to attack this target. They're a mage, and they just need to get down. So that was perfect. That was enough to take them out. Exactly what we wanted. And again, we can do those attacks from reach. We don't even have to get in close range there. We'll go with another attack there. I ate up my bonus action, which kind of sucks because I did want to use it, but that's fine. We don't have to move around too much, so we can just stick her here, I guess. And someone just jumped into our reach, so we are going to use that. Yeah, they're near us, and we're going to do it. What's funny is sometimes you can actually trigger multiple attacks, which is great. Oh, we got them in reach again. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. And it was enough to finish them off. And Call the Weak actually got the splash damage off on another target there. It's amazing. Oh my goodness, they did not learn from their friend that just went down. He just jumped into my range too and got hit with an attack. So yeah, that's 3 of them in a row. We don't have a reaction, so if you have the psionic dominance from the illithid abilities, you're not even going to be able to use it, unfortunately, but pretty good turn, honestly, and they're just going to attack us. Unfortunately, we didn't get the free attack off because we have no reaction. So I guess now is a good time for us to use our primordial breath here. If you can get into a good position, so like because they're not going to use an opportunity attack, we can just run up here and splash here. So that's going to hit 3 targets with that. This is enough to take out 2 of them. Perfect. We'll then follow up with another attack here and not spend our bonus action on the dashing attack. So we're likely to take out this target and very likely to take out this one right here, which we want. This is the target that I originally wanted, yeah, because they can do some pretty devastating things. And where's the last one? Right over here. I'm probably not going to be able to reach him. Nope. It's not going to let me do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. So we're going to jump back there, and the Emperor's going to freak out. Yeah. Oh, but somehow my character got a free opportunity attack off. It didn't even prompt me to do it. And we just took him out. So that works. So that is the ZEPHYR Martial class by TheWailingBard in Baldur's Gate 3. Very powerful and fun subclass. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what subclass you'd like to see covered next. And we'll catch you all in the next video. Have a great day.